3 weeks ago, I issued a newsletter in which the coronavirus was one of the subjects. At that time it was still called nCoV, and in the meantime it's renamed to COVID-19. There was actually no response on that newsletter subject. By now, just a little 3 weeks later, people are beginning to wake up to this reality. By the way, if you want to receive our newsletter, please go to our website, trumpetblast.com, and subscribe. Back to our subject. The coronavirus is a reality that is undeniable, and in spite of its massive impact, already many people still do not take it serious. There are probably two reasons for that. The first one is that people are all subject to a so-called normalcy bias. That means that they will not easily accept something that goes totally against what they are used to. This causes an opposition that will last until it is unavoidable and has become a self-evident truth. Unfortunately, then one is not prepared. The second reason for the underestimation of this crisis are the strong attempts of governments across the board to downplay it. Most likely because they don't want panic, but probably also because there is a darker agenda pushed. The reason for this alert is, as always, to relate it to Bible prophecy and hopefully to get you out of your normalcy bias. Many Christian outlets are already referring to the tribulation period, the horses of the apocalypse and the seal judgments. Now, anyone who has followed the teaching on eschatology on this channel knows, or should know, that that is not yet the case. Those times will be much worse than what we go through now, and than those that are ahead of us in the short term. But having said that, it does not mean that we are not seeing perilous times. It will be a rough ride for many, so you better fasten your seatbelts. The Bible foretold of these times specifically, but not exclusively, in Matthew 24 verses 6 through 13 and in the parallel verses in Luke chapter 21 verses 9 through 19. We can actually see all the events mentioned there happening simultaneously and increasing exponentially, like birth pangs. These are unprecedented times. So far you might have thought of famines and pestilences as things happening in third world countries in Africa, India or South America. And for the most part they were. These days are changing. The events are going to impact your life and things will not be the same again. As I stated in the newsletter, things regarding the virus are much worse than reported. The numbers in China were already heavily underreported by a factor 10 to 50. But we see the same happening also in other countries, in the Far East, the Middle East, the US and Europe. And contrary to what is being reported, this virus has an asymptomatic spread. This means that people are infecting others before they exhibit any symptoms themselves. And that makes it different from any other corona-type virus and most other viral diseases. There is also no natural immunity among mankind. In spite of what is being said time and again, this is not the flu and cannot even be compared with the flu or SARS or MERS by any stretch. The case fatality rate is much higher than presented in most cases. Many people die, and Christians are not automatically exempted from that. As Christians, we should be prepared for these things for a long time. Signs have been as a handwriting on the wall for a long period. Unfortunately, we see that many are totally unprepared, and fear and uncertainty are rampant. But in the newsletter I also spoke about the economic impact. Again, no response, but now it begins to materialize. Last week the Dow Jones index saw the biggest point drop in the history of the stock market ever. And it was the worst week since the 2008 crisis. And this is just the beginning. It is not a financial crisis as we saw in 2008, but an economic crisis, meaning that the actual real economy is causing the response of the financial markets. Production and transport from the Far East of many products has been absent for many weeks. The supply chain disruption is beyond measure. Warehouses in the West are getting more empty. And that will cause shortages and rise in prices for all kinds of products, from electronics to medicines. Well, I'm not going to exhaust you with statistics and numbers. There are enough sites that provide these. Just know, perilous times are ahead. I believe the Lord will soon call His bride home, but it could also get quite a bit worse before that. If you're not prepared spiritually, today is the day, not tomorrow. Get right with the Lord now. And if you're not prepared practically, you are probably too late. Many essentials are already sold out. You could be forced to home quarantine tomorrow. The question is, do you have enough food stored for you and your family to stay inside for 2 weeks minimum? 30 to 90 days could even become a realistic scenario. And how about medicines, toilet paper, etc.? We have seen this coming for months now. It's only common sense and responsible acting. We've seen what happened in Italy in just 2 days' time. Also bear in mind that there might be strong travel restrictions in the coming weeks and months. Planned vacations and trips might have to be cancelled. Our world is changing very fast. We knew it was coming. Jesus told us so 2000 years ago. And as Christians we should not be surprised. It's not a message of doom and gloom, but rather one of hope and anticipation. And as Jesus said, now when these things begin to happen, look up and lift up your heads, because your redemption draws near.
Dear brothers and sisters, I want to take the opportunity to just give a short reminder. Please don't forget to visit our website, lasttrumpetblast.com. There are useful resources for you or your church or ministry to take advantage of. Lots of material to download. It's unnecessary to mention that it's all free of charge. You'll also find all our YouTube videos there and several practical ways to find exactly that message that you are looking for. And please share the site with your friends and relatives through the different platforms that are available to you. Also, don't forget to explore our YouTube channel. There are many thematic playlists to go through. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell as well to get notifications whenever we upload something new. Like the messages and please share with others. Thank you, and may the Lord bless you.